This is day one of having the DJI Osmo Nano for the second time. So last when I got this product, I was really hyped up because it was going to be a very cool camera, at least what I thought in the beginning. And yeah, I ended up selling it maybe before Christmas. So this was right when it came out in September. I played with it for a couple of months. Didn't like it, decided to sell it, and now here I am towards the end of March, and I bought it again. I'm gonna go into a little bit of a deep dive of why I decided to get the DJI Osmo Nano again, even though I've gotten the Pocket 3 twice, sold it both times, and I even got the Action 6, which is a really cool camera. However, for some of the POV shots that I've been wanting to do, it was just very clunky and heavy. So now I'm going backwards again, and yeah, so I'll be elaborating a little bit on why I decided to go with the DJI Osmo Nano. So one of the reasons why I switched from the Nano to the Action 6 was, one, the overheating issue. Even though I had toggled with the settings and I decided to record in 2.7K versus 4K, it was just a nuisance just to know that at some point the camera would overheat on me. Not that it ever did, because I would never record content long enough to do that. I also wasn't really in the spirit of recording long format video on the Nano, as I was trying to do with other cameras like one of my Sonys. The other part that I wasn't really too fond and happy about with the Nano was the charging system of charging from the dock and then having to charge the dock. So having to stay on top of charging, you know, the two things separately together, making sure I had enough battery both in the tiny camera and in the dock, and then also just like the ability of not being able to replace or to extract a battery to put in a new battery like how you're able to do with the action cameras. But then there was a big part of what I felt like I was missing, because there were some POV videos where I would have like my Action 6, and I did get like a magnetic lanyard for it, so that way I could record POV stuff. And you know, I wanted to do immersive interactions with other people, like as far as you know, meeting people on the fly, seeing if I could record them with my more higher end Sony camera. And it worked out nice, but it also wasn't as discreet as I wanted it to be, even though the light can blink red. I'm pretty sure if I were to just tape over it, it would, you know, still record no problem, and it would be less cumbersome on the chest when it comes to making content. So there was a lot of going back and forth, but I think the camel that broke my back was the fact that the price, if you were to buy from Amazon, went up like $90, because when the Osmo Nanos first came out, there was a 64 gigabyte version and a 128. And so there was maybe like a $30 or $40 difference. I think it was $40. But I remember the Nano 64 was $299, and then the 128 gigabyte was about $330. Well, maybe about a week ago when I went on Amazon just to see what the prices are like, because, you know, DJI is still having issues with being able to distribute third-party companies in the States, I saw that the 128 clearly went from $340 or $330 to $409. So So that's almost $100 difference from when it first came out to now. And I get it, inflation, whatever, tariffs, all that crap. It just sucks that this camera climbed up that much more in value. So then I just said to myself, okay, I'm just gonna get it, whatever, bite the bullet, and hopefully this time around I will stick to it. I guess the last part of why I felt indifferent about this camera was the fact that I didn't feel like I was really using it to its max potential as far as color grading, tweaking out the settings, and just being able to have and create that cinematic look that I've been trying to chase after for quite some time, which I now have with my Sony cameras, with, you know, using DaVinci and all that stuff. But now I'm like really wanting to make the most out of this camera. So over the next few days, I'm going to be recording, curating some content, and definitely want to get back into some of the POV stuff. But I would also like to just have a camera that is a little bit more discreet, that doesn't look as intimidating, that I can just kind of whip out real quick, stick it somewhere, hit record, and kind of do that. The Action 6 camera is still by far my favorite action camera. However, it just felt a little heavy, and, you know, just trying to set it up somewhere. At least with the DJI Nano, I feel like it will be that much more easier to get those quick, cool, and creative shots. So follow along if you want to see more of the stuff that I'm going to be posting as a, you know, beginner leaning intermediate videographer.